Shalom Israel. This is the ISUPK, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana, officer of 1,000 gun. Today we're going to get into the ISUPK Law Class, speaking about the importance of God's law in today's society, right? It was a touching topic, as always, is how important it is. People do not realize that God's law supersedes any law, any rule, anything you can come up with for any society that you have ever thought about being a part of. A part of God's law is always in there. And I'm going to show you some examples of that today. All right? We have some technical difficulties. If you're having problems hearing me, please tap in the chat and let me know that. We will get that fixed pretty soon. All right? If we got any questions, remember you tap in here. And if you see the class late, still send your questions. You know what I'm saying? We're always available to answer your questions. All right? All right. And the first thing we want to understand is what? We want to understand who God's law is for. Who it's for, right? Let's get that. I'm going to get Psalms 147 and 19. All right? And while you get into that, understand the importance of what we're trying to tell you about these laws. These laws are for saving your life. They will save your life. And you know how you know they'll save your life? Because we've seen the law destroy a life. We've seen the law take a life. All right? And you may or may not know what that means. We're going to get into that. All right? Because whether you do follow God's law or not, you will be subject to them. You will run into them in your lifetime. A lot of people have died because of God's law, not even knowing God's law. That's how serious it is. It's not nothing you want to play around with or confuse. It's something you can do on your time. You have to follow every part of God's law, or you will see death, right? You will see loss. You will see suffering that you cannot get out of. Now, does that mean nothing is going to happen to you? If you don't follow, it means nothing's going to happen to you if you follow God's law. You're never going to have a situation. No. What it means is you're going to know how to get out of those situations. Right? That's what that means. All right? All right. In Psalms 147 and 19. So like if that would want to have a reader today, let me give, this is Psalms 147 and 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, right? Who is Jacob? We already know that's the children of Israel, that's blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. His statutes and judgments unto Israel, right? Statutes and judgments means what? You get benefits or you can get punished from these laws. Is no, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and then everything gonna work out for me, right? It don't work like that. All right, let's get some more on that. He have not dealt so with any other nation. Right? So that right there being put in this Bible, it lets you know there's some division in that. It's not for everybody. So what that means is you're not going to all see the benefits. Like you're not going to look around in the world and you're going to say, oh, I see why they're doing it. It's because they following God's law. Oh, I see why they're doing that because no, it don't work like that. You're going to see people that are not of your nation not follow God's law and benefit and look real cool. You know, they're going to look real safe and untouchable. And you're going to see a few of our brothers and sisters who follow those people go out in the world and do the same thing, right? But in the end, all of them lose. But it's not a coincidence that our brothers and sisters are the ones who lose the worst. You know, you look at these so-called old mobster films, right? You know, a lot of those mobsters, they based a lot of their formations and stuff off of the Bible. I think the general brought this out the other night on the show. A lot of them base their lives and how they do things off the Bible on the other side, right? They do that, but they still be wicked. They use the power of this Bible, right? A lot of our organizations, a lot of our black mafias and our kingpins weren't doing that. They were just following the oppressor, right? But they don't realize the oppressor got a lot of the things that made this stuff organized, they got it out of the Bible. So how does that sound? Somebody you're trying to follow uses something you were given to lead, but they're leading you. And that's what makes our people. Shalom, Lord Christ. I see you, man. I see y'all. I see you there. Shalom, Yabba I see you there, Morah. Understand that they using something that was given to you to lead the earth. But we decide that we're going to follow them. And that's the wickedest thing you can think of. And then they hate you about it. Those same old school mobsters that you want to follow, those Gottis and Capones and Lucy, all them things there, they hate black people. And we have figured out how to pattern our whole life after those people. We name our rap names after them. You know, everything we do, we base it off of stuff they laid out, the murder and everything they laid out. And that's not how it's supposed to be. All right? I understand. He said he's dealt so with no other nation. Meaning they are the bastard children that he don't care about. He don't care about them standing on the corner selling drugs and killing each other doing that. They're not his children. He's going to deal with them in due time. Right? That's how that's supposed to go. He said he has not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. So when it says they have not known those judgments, guess what? They're going to get away with a lot of stuff we're not going to get away with. And yeah, they're going to piss you off. Yeah, to make a little boy in the hood look back like why they can't do it and not do it. And it breeds a level of anger in you if you don't understand what's really going on. Because we as people, we have taken this suffering thing as something everybody goes through. Everybody don't go through the same suffering that blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans go through. That's the mistake that we've made. We made the mistake of thinking that they go through the same pain we go through. So that we think if they go through the same pain, then we can all go through the same reward. No, that's not how that works. That's not how that works at all, man. So lucky. All right. So that's why we got to understand about quoting this law. Let me get Romans. Let's get Romans 2:13. This is something I definitely want you to see first when we're talking about God's law and how serious the God's law is. Romans 2:12. All right. For as many have sinned without the law shall perish without the law. And you ask yourself, how can I sin? How can I sin if I'm not even trying to follow God's law? You can sin not even knowing the Bible at all. You think about that rapper Trouble that died in Atlanta. He doesn't follow the Bible. He probably never heard it's a death penalty to sleep with another man's woman, right? This sister that's a politician just got caught stealing. She doesn't understand the depth of thou shalt not steal, right? Those people will die, but it's because of God's law. Now, if you're looking at most black people that die violent deaths, right? You're looking at most of those people that die. I would say about 90% or more that die. They die, is a law involved in their death. We don't just, everybody just dropping dead. People that die violently, suddenly, if they were following God's laws, it wouldn't have went like that every time. Now, do we have times where people die because of the Lord? Of course. Our King, our Lord and Savior did that. He died violently because he followed God's law. That's not what's happening today. It's very rare that's happening today, right? Someone violently dies. The last man I know did it was Abba Biggins, the man who started this, right? Today ours is more spiritual. It's a mental thing we got to get past. And that's what makes it harder for you to follow the law, because mentally you want to be a part of this earth, a part of a place that does not want you here. All right? All right, so for many have sinned without the law shall perish without law, without law. And as many have sinned in the law shall be judged by it. So once you start learning these laws and learning how to live with these laws, and then you decide you're gonna go and do what you want to do anyway, you're gonna get judged by that law. You're gonna lose your life by that law. Now, when we talk about death, right? Because with the sin comes death. There's different ways you can die, right? The Most High knows how to deal with you properly. Now, the worst type of person you can be is somebody the Lord wants, and you're trying to fight the Spirit of God. You're trying to fight being in this truth. You have an issue with you just don't want to join up. You don't want to be a part of it. You want to keep doing what you're doing. You will receive the worst type of punishment from the Most High God. Why? Because the Lord is a gangster. Understand that He is gangster in every possible way. I may not be able to now, Marah, because I know I already started here. Hold on 1 second. All right, Marah, I just sent it to you, bro. So lock it. All right. All right. All right. If you got any questions, let me know. All right. All right, I just sent it to you, Marah. Let me know when you got it. All right. Let me know. It's a little crooked. Hold on. Okay, I think we're good. Right. So what basically what we're saying is you have to follow God's law regardless, right? There's no way around that. All right. If y'all having problems hearing me, let me know too, man. It sounds like I got an echo. It could be me though. All right. Now, what you have to realize is the importance of God's law relates to everything going on. And what I mean that even with this politician thing going on, there's violence in the earth, right? A mass amount of violence. And our people's only option to do right now is to go to politicians, right? Go to politicians, go to them and ask for help. Expecting a man who's, has no bearings in your community, right? Who's not in touch with God in any kind of way, We go to them because they have seats of high power, so-called high power, and expect them to fix what's going on with children who they cannot relate to, right? That's the reason these children are the ones who's doing all the murdering right now. Because we didn't follow a rule of God. Let's get that rule of God. All right, let's get this first thing you're supposed to do. This is an old one, and all of us have hold it. None of y'all might get it before I get it. When you hear about it, you're going to definitely get it. So look, it's Proverbs 22:6. All right? Train up a child in the way that he should go, right? And when he is old, he will not depart from it, right? That's a key thing. If a lot of these children would have been trained up in the way they should go, they would not be out here doing all this killing and shooting right now, right? But guess what? The way that we were taught, they were trained up is for them to go to church. Them to, a lot of them became Muslims. But mainly, you made a lot of them go to church. A lot of these kids out here doing the shooting. Grandma was the only one there to raise them. And then grandma made them go to church on Sunday. Grandma told them about a white Jesus that didn't make no sense. Grandma couldn't properly break the Bible down. Auntie couldn't properly break the Bible down. Mama couldn't do it. No men were in the house. It was a systematic thing. It was a very systematic thing that destroyed our people. And that's what we got to come out of. We got to break that system. And the only way you're going to call yourself a revolutionary is you got to come back to these laws. I heard a brother the other day telling a sister, man, this not eating pork thing getting old. That's what he said. He said, this not eating pork thing is getting old. And that tripped me out when I heard that. It angered me, of course. Because this can't be a fad. Following God's law cannot be a fad that you do. It cannot be something you do just to look cool. Because there's going to be a time when it don't look cool. It's going to be a time when it's not going to be popular to follow God's law. We're in that time now, right? I tell you something like I'm going to camp or I don't celebrate Christmas. It don't sound cool to say that. We're fighting for that day when it's going to sound lame for you to celebrate Christmas. It's going to sound lame for you to celebrate Labor Day. Right? You're going to be like, you're going to Labor Day? That's what we fight for. And if you know how enshrined our people are in these holidays, that's an uphill battle. And you got to be willing to take that on. That's what's called picking up the cross. A lot of people out here wearing these crosses on their chests, they don't understand what it means when Christ said to pick up his cross, pick up his burden. That means piss your aunties off when it's time for Thanksgiving. You mean you have to. You have no choice. Now, auntie can choose to love you like some do. Some can do that. Or she can choose to not deal with you no more because you don't want to do that. Either way, you still do it. That's picking up Christ's burden. Not wearing no damn cross that he got killed on, which makes no sense to do. Only way you're going to pick up his burden is by following the laws. He said, if I follow the law, you follow it too. Be ye perfect as my Father in heaven is perfect. Right? All right, you in there? Can you hear me, Raw?
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Shalom, Lord.
No.
All right. Yeah, we're going over basically the importance of God's law, man. Right? We're going in today's society and what's all the killing is coming from, right? And how our people are so destroyed, we thinking we worried about elections and all this kind of stuff here. We look to politicians to save our people. When the basic thing it all has always been, you look to the spiritual leaders to save your community. And the reason we cannot look to our spiritual leaders right now is because you got looking at the wrong spiritual leader. You're looking at the pastor that gets up on Sunday morning and asks for your money, right? Who tells you you're not equally yoked with your husband, so it's time to leave him, stuff like that. That has been the problem. You get wrong information, right? And I'm gonna tell you why you don't like to hear it. All right. I'm gonna get a scripture. I like to get the scriptures when I tell you what. I want you to think we're making stuff up, right? Because I think my brother Paul said this best. All right. Give me that smooth words. It's Salakia. Give me 2 Corinthians chapter 2. All right. Because what we got to understand is the only way you're going to survive on this earth is you have to pick up the Spirit of God, right? And you're not going to always, it's not going to always sound beautiful when you hear the Spirit of God, when you hear somebody speaking the oracles of what the Most High said to do. You're not going to always get that, man. You're going to have situations where you're going to hear something that you don't want to hear. Think about it. When Christ was right here, he had 5,000 people following him. But as soon as he said something they did not like, as soon as he had someone that said something he did not like, guess what? What they did? They left.
All right.
He had did all these miracles, did all these great things. And when he said one thing they did not understand, he left. They left. And he was cool with it. He doubled down even harder. Right? That's what made him our king. All right. You got that 2 Corinthians?
Said chapter 2. What verse?
Let's start there from the top, because that whole thing is a heavy topic.
Come on.
All right.
The book of
Go ahead.
It's the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 1. But I determined this with myself, that I would not come again to you in heaviness.
Right.
Verse 2. For if I make you sorry, who is he then that make me glad?
Right. Keep going.
But the same which is made sorry by me. Verse 3. And I wrote the same unto you, lest when I came, I should have sorrow from them of whom I ought to rejoice.
Right. Keep going.
Having confidence in you, all that my joy is the joy of you all. Verse 4. For out of much affliction and anguish of heart, I wrote unto you with many tears.
Now understand something. When we're coming to you bringing this truth, man, it ain't all about wrecking your day. It ain't all about coming around our people and just being the bad guy. This is the truth of God. And when you're in a place where the world is just happy, when the world is just always just merry about whatever they're doing, and you got to come and say, hey, man, we don't do that. Brother walk around here happy with his dreads and naked face. You got to tell that brother just happy as he want to be. But you got to tell him, man, what you doing is against God.
All right.
You cutting your beard is against God. You sitting there smoking is against God. You want to go sleep with that man or woman is against God. Somebody got to do this, man.
All right.
And you want to go to the places where they're telling you exactly what you want to hear. They're soothsaying you. That's what they're doing. They're trying to soothsay everything. That's what your pastor does on Sunday. He's not gonna say too much that's gonna piss you off. He's gonna say a quote that's gonna make you just be like, oh, I feel I needed that. And gonna get all it's gonna do is get you through your week, keep you from blowing your brains out.
All right.
It's a temporary anecdote. All right, keep going.
Okay. Not that ye should be grieved, but that ye might know the love which I have more abundantly unto you. Verse 5. But if any have caused grief, he have not grieved me, but in part that I may not overcharge you all. Verse 6. Significance to such a man is this punishment.
Hey, Salaki, my bad, that was me. Go to 1 Corinthians 2, chapter 2. And that's crazy because that was on point of what I was saying too. That's it's amazing how these scriptures work together like that. You know what I'm saying? It's actually 2 Corinthians, right?
2 Corinthians chapter 2.
I mean, Salaki, 1 Corinthians chapter 2.
Oh, okay. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 1. And I, brethren, when I came to you, came not in excellency of speech or of wisdom.
Excellency of speech. That means everything we say to you is not always gonna sound like, not gonna sound beautiful. It's not gonna be a bar. Some of it gonna sound hard. Some of it gonna sound good to you. Some of it's gonna be like, what you say?
All right.
That's when you gotta decide whether or not you're gonna be in the truth or not. That's when you gotta decide if God's law is more important in your life. When you have children and they want to go celebrate their birthday and they want you to be there, no matter how old they are, and you got to make that decision and say, "No, I ain't gonna be there." Now, of course, that gonna sound evil to you, to a person in the world, but you got to realize you're actually saving your child's life by doing that. You're protecting your child by being the man Most High chose you. Guess what? You're gonna go celebrate that child's birthday, and they're gonna end up hating you anyway. They're gonna end up hating you. Guess what? Look at all these celebrities, right? With all these, the money ain't gonna help. You know what I'm saying? Just being there and spoiling them and all that. A lot of all these celebrities seriously end up being drug addicts and committing suicide. That's usually what happens.
Right.
Look at Master P. Is Master P a bad man? Is he a horrible guy? Probably not. I don't know him personally. He did some great things. But you telling me you got all this money, this power and influence, you couldn't keep your daughter from being on drugs? It's because he don't have the truth. All right, keep going. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, did she commit suicide?
Yeah, she committed suicide.
Right.
She was on drugs real bad, and she committed suicide. Right? And that lets you know. Salaki. Everybody want to text and call me something important right now. Salaki. All right. Keep going.
Okay. Declaring unto you the testament of God. Verse 2. For I determined not to know anything among you, save Jesus Christ and him crucified.
Right. What that means right there is, guess what? We don't have to know what's going on with you today. We are in the truth. And we know our people. When we go out on the street corners and you prophesy to your people, you really know what's going on with your people. I don't have to know Sauce Walker. I didn't have to know what's that boy that just got Sauce Walker it came out said he got molested. We've been telling y'all that homosexuality and molestation are connected for years. I didn't have to know that about him to know that about him. That's what this Bible does. It damn near makes you telepathic when you actually are taught it the right way. But that was a shock to everybody else that Sauce Walker was passed around by his uncles and cousins and all that. We knew that.
The moccasin.
Go ahead.
It's not South Walker. It's I think it's South Santana or something like
South
that.
Santana, yeah, South Santana. You know, y'all know what I'm talking. Oh yeah, yeah, y'all do. Salaki to the brother. Yeah, Salaki. I do like his music. He not him. South
Right.
Santana. When you look at that boy, you knew something had happened to him. We knew that, right? That's only a shock to people that don't know God, because he was not made to be like that. He was tormented into being like that. And black people, like when the scriptures say, we're stronger than other people, we have taken trauma and made it a triumph some kind of way. We think that's okay. That sounds good, right? I say I took my trauma and made a triumph. Nah, you ain't. You got to get some counseling. You need
Right.
some help. You need somebody to guide you, and that's not what's going on right now. All right? Because what you do, if you don't get that counseling to get fixed from what happened to you, all you're gonna do is be like South Santana. You're gonna start a whole other religion. That's all it is. Everybody gonna come up with their own little religion based off what happened to them. All right, keep going on that.
Come on, verse 3. And I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling. Verse 4.
Right,
In my speech, in my preaching was not with enticing words of man wisdom.
right. It's
But,
not gonna. It's
but
not gonna always be enticing words. Right. We go into places that a lot of people cannot go. We go into a lot of things that people cannot do. Right. And the average man would be so fearful of doing that is that he wouldn't do it. All right. Keep going.
come. But in demonstration of the spirit and of the power. Verse 5. That your faith should not stand in the wisdom of man, but in the power of God.
So
Verse
like read
6.
that. Read that part again.
Come. Verse 5. That your faith should not stand in the wisdom of man, but in the power of God.
Your faith should not what? Say that one more time for them, man. I don't think they heard you.
Come. That your faith should not stand in the wisdom of man, but in the power of God.
That means when you were a child, just think back to when you were a child, man. A lot of times our 30, 40 sometimes our 20-some year old relative, we took wisdom from them just because they've been here longer.
Right.
But we telling you to come out this book that's been here for thousands of years, that's for your great great granddaddy, folk, all that. That's all we doing. That's all that get done here. If you're not coming out this book, you don't have real wisdom. And the Lord is showing that right now. He's showing you how weak your celebrities are. Your Jay-Z's, your Puff Daddies, your Jay Princes. He's showing you how weak they are. I think somebody just shot Jay Prince's house up in Houston. Ain't no respect for that OG crap in these out here no more, man.
Right.
Because these children know just like Mama lied about Santa Claus, you just another nigga lying. The skirt getting pulled up. Somebody
Right.
found out Jay Prince been scamming folks in Houston, they shot his house up. Because the only thing gonna survive right now is integrity. You can't be out here scamming your people and lying to them. This laws of God about unbalanced scales.
Mm-hmm.
God's laws say if you know that your animal was torn, that you cannot sell it to your brother. You know why he don't want you to sell it to your brother? Because your brother might come back and blow your brains out. That's one of the reasons. For one thing, in 2024, you sell your brother something that's tainted, you might get killed for that. Your mama house might get shot up for that.
Right.
Don't provoke your brother when he already got anger issues. That's the problem that we having out here right now. On all levels. That's where God's laws come into play. And every time, that's what them mobsters didn't understand. They couldn't take, having an order and a counsel and all the stuff they got, but you out here robbing and stealing. Don't work like that. The world may make you famous behind that, but God is gonna make sure you are put to death behind that.
Right.
A lot of them just not coming out talking about all the stuff they've been through, the loss they've had to go through, the counseling they need. A lot of them are dead. That's what we got to remember. All right, keep going.
Oh, okay. Verse 6. Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect,
Right.
yet not the wisdom of this world, nor the princes of this world that come to naught.
Right. You see what he did there? You see what he did there? He said, look, how we speaking the wisdom of them that are perfect. He being funny right there. Because in your eyes, it don't make sense for somebody, a nigga that don't got $1 million being more wiser than who they think wise now? Tyler Perry. Whoever make these movies out here. Whoever y'all so-called wise person is out here. It don't make sense for a nigga that got a regular job, they got the wisdom of God, can school Boosie. Right? That don't sound right to you. In your eyes, those people are perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Those people have everything. So how is that possible? Right? Keep going.
Okay, verse 7. But we speak the wisdom of God in the mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which God ordained before the world unto our glory.
Understand, a lot of that stuff is been hidden, right? And we come out and tell you that stuff like when Kevin Zariah, if y'all watched that when he was talking to that Muslim the other day, a lot of knowledge that brother thought he had about the Bible was been hidden from him. He was like a lot of stuff you could tell Christianity. He was a Muslim, but Christianity ruined him. He thinking Adam was the first man. He talked to a snake. We believe in this and believe in that. That knowledge has been hidden all this time. Right. And it's in the same book that you're looking at. That should let you know something amazing is going on right now, because now you got men in the earth that's revealing this stuff to you, giving their lives up to reveal it to you. Right. So instead of fighting that and looking at, okay, well, you got this, they don't have this, right? Or they got more. So a lot of times, especially when you call yourself coming into the truth or becoming an Israelite, right? You look at numbers. You look at numbers, right? You look at how big a group is, how much more established the group is, and what you think is established, right? Because ain't nothing more established than the ISUPK. But a lot of stuff will confuse you, right? But let me show you something you might never seen before. Hold that for me. Don't lose that, because we're going to come right back to it. Let me get, what's that give me that little sanctuary. Where's that one at? Let me see. You know what I'm talking about, Morocco?
Say it again, other one.
That little sanctuary. Hold on, Shalaki.
Little sanctuary? Live.
Hold on. Give me 1 second here. All right. Bear with me 1 second here. Because a lot of times our people get caught up in them numbers, right? Most High never wants us to get caught up in numbers. Okay, yeah, I said it is right. Ezekiel 11 and 16. I just didn't see it there. Ezekiel 11 and 16. Hold that and give me that.
Oh, okay. This the book of Ezekiel, chapter 11, verse 16. Therefore say, thus said the Lord God, although I have cast them far off among the heathens, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall go, where they shall
Guess what,
come.
man? We are scattered out all over this planet, man. So don't be looking for no one big group that then came together already. That ain't happening. We're scattered out with little sanctuaries all over the planet. That's what you ought to be looking for, right? Think about this. It's only going to be 144,000 men running the earth. But it's going to be, you think there's only people going to be on the earth? How many people on earth right now? What? How many billions, right? It's going to be triple that in the kingdom of heaven. Because we ain't going to have no abortion. People are going to be able to have more children. So we're going to have way more people. And only 144,000 men are going to run the planet, the quasars, everything you can think of. That's not a lot. So we got to stop thinking like peons. We got to stop thinking like small-minded people when it comes to this truth. You got to be willing to stand for something in the midst when nobody else is doing it. That's when you're in the truth. You go to the big groups and want to go around where everybody's already happy and established. Now we are an army that is angry, right? We in the ISUPK, we can take 10 men and run the city.
Right.
That's how that goes. We don't need a whole lot of people, even though we have plenty of soldiers. That's not the point. The point is, how many of them are really with it? How many of you can have 100 cowards together that look good, all dressed alike and looking all happy. But when it's really time to do something that needs to be done, are they really there? Do they really give a damn? What are they doing with them so-called resources that they got? Right? Keep going. Now let's go back to if you finish that out, read some more on that. What you got, Ezekiel?
Verse 17. Therefore say, thus said the Lord God, I will even gather you from the people and assemble you out of the countries where ye have been scattered.
Right. He's gonna assemble the ones that he needs. So just because we're in certain positions right now, don't mean you're gonna stay there. Right? We are the ones who have that so-called faith that's needed, but that faith gonna come with works. It's gonna come with a little suffering, a little long suffering with your brothers and sisters, a little patience.
Yeah.
Because what you've been doing hasn't been working no way. All of the methods they've tried to give us before have not worked. All right? Let's go back to that. Was that it on that? Some more on that?
Colonel Khan is just say, and I will give you the land of Israel.
Okay, yeah, of course. And that's when we go take our land back. But you got to be willing to fight for that. Go back there, 1 Corinthians chapter 2.
Colonel Khan. This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 8. Which none of the princes of this world knew. For had they known it, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory.
Right. Understand. Keep going.
Verse 9. But as it is written, I have not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God had prepared for them that love him.
So understand that your eyes and ears cannot, you can't even fathom what you're going to get from behind God's laws. God's laws are a shadow of things to come. It's a shadow of things to come. So you telling me you're not willing to give up smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, chasing whores, being a lying bastard, stealing, killing, murdering, starting up drama, being an untrustworthy person for something that you can't even imagine. It's going to be something great, but your mind can't even imagine how great it's going to be. That means you cannot, with all your imagination, picture, paint, make a illustration of what the kingdom of heaven on this plane is going to be like. I'm not talking about up in the sky. I'm talking about what is going to happen here.
All right.
But we got to go through the destruction part first. We got to go, we're tearing this place down first with the Spirit of God. All right, keep going.
Con. But God have revealed them, verse 10, Salaki, verse 10. But God have revealed them unto us by his Spirit. For the Spirit searches all things, yet the
Right,
deep things of God.
right. So the
Verse,
Spirit, once you come into a truth, that's how you know you're in the truth. When certain things that you used to be okay with, your spirit ain't gonna resonate with that no more.
right.
Right? And you got to understand something. When it comes to your spirit, there's no respect of persons here. That spirit can be with you, and that spirit can leave you. You come into this to the truth, or you so-called think you in the truth. You start reading up and watching classes, and you see something that you know you don't like, but you don't want to get a breakdown on, and you continue to do it. That spirit can leave you. It ain't gonna just stay with you. Don't ever think there's anything special about your vessel that you in. That spirit will leave you. Because when you get that spirit to understand, okay, I gotta do this to save my people. I gotta do this to be a part of something great. You have no idea how much farther ahead of the game you are when you're in the truth. You're so far ahead of the game, you won't see it. Because guess what? You got to get up and go to work tomorrow. It ain't like knowing who's gonna win the game on a parlay that day, and you're gonna get paid for it that day. You getting up looking at something that you're gonna say, "Oh, I gotta go through all this, but I know what's on the other side of it." You really do know what's on the other side of it, and you get glimpses of it throughout your life all the time. But you still gotta walk through that hill. That's what's picking up your burdens like Christ did. Christ knew everybody was gonna. He knew Peter was gonna turn on him. He knew Judas was gonna try to kill him. He knew he had to die. But he did it anyway. He got up and went through the process every day. Imagine that. Imagine if you know you got somebody around you, you know gonna set you up to be killed. A lot of us wouldn't still be around them.
Right.
A lot of us would leave, would get that person out of our circle. You sitting next to Peter, you telling Peter, hey man, this man, you got a brother, you're gonna say, hey man, you gonna betray me. You know this man is gonna deny you and not go with you. You getting jumped on, and you already know this dude is not finna be with you. You wouldn't have kept that dude around you. You know how hard that is to do something like that?
Very.
That's because Christ knew what was on the other side of that. He had to long suffer that. That's a law. Long suffering your brothers and sisters. Even though you know what they're gonna do right now. They're gonna cross you right now. They might take, you know what I'm saying? That's what this is. All right? Keep going.
Con. Verse 11. For what man know the things of man, save the spirit of man which is in him?
Right.
Even so, the things of God know no man, but the Spirit of God.
Right. So you have people a lot of times when they come into this truth, they want to know every little thing about how God operates. You're not going to completely understand how God operates. He's God. First, he's a man of war and he's a spirit. That right there splits your brain in half, not understanding nothing like that. Yeah, the spirit of how a man should be. And he takes ground. He takes what he wants.
Right.
In an orderly fashion. Not no hocus pocus, abracadabra type thing. It's always going to be in an orderly fashion. All right, keep going.
Come, verse 12. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the spirit which is of God.
Right,
That we
understand that.
may,
When you decide you're going to follow the Most High God, if you ain't got that spirit that separates you from the world. And what I mean by that, if you're a woman, right? You're a woman, it should bother you to go out to the club with your ass out. Right? This should bother you to be with a woman that goes out with her ass out. These sisters now, I mean, it's a lot. They get out of control now with how they dress.
Mm-hmm.
They not, instead of wearing the short skirts, they want to wear the skirts with their ass cheeks hanging out, so like at the bottom. And nobody's saying nothing to them about it. Everybody just letting them get more and more naked every time they feel like it. That's when that stuff like that bothers you. That's when you know, okay, I got a different type of spirit, because that's too much. I wouldn't want to marry a woman like that. I wouldn't want to be around a woman like that. If you a sister, you look in the mirror and see something that's too revealing, it should bother you. That's when you're getting to the right spirit. If you're a brother and you see that, you should not want to talk to that woman. You should not want to be with that. If you're talking to her, you should be telling her, hey, you might be doing a little too much with that. That don't look good.
Right.
That's the kind of spirit Christ had. He'll have a conversation with that sister, but he also gonna tell her, look here, you cover your ass up. Most women won't want to hear that. Not the ones who out here. Sexy, you couldn't tell Sexy Red that or Megan Thee Stallion that. Hey, quit shaking your ass and go sit down, man. You gotta make some biscuits.
Right.
What are you providing to this earth besides your body? Some of them can't even take a picture without showing they behind. Can't take a regular picture. And that's a problem. And it has to start bothering you. If it's not bothering you, then your spirit is with this earth. Your spirit is not with the Most High God. All right? Keep going.
That we might know the things that are freely given to us of God. Verse 13. Which things also we speak, not in the words.
Go back to that freely given of you.
That we may know the things that are freely given to us of God.
Understand that, man. That you sitting up in this class, we're not asking for no money. We go out on camps, we're not asking for no money. Right? You should donate your money to the priest of the Lord. You should be putting your money behind that. When we giving it to you for free. You got to notice it. You got to see it and understand that you're supposed to benefit from this game you get. Everywhere else is a hustle. Everybody that's on Instagram getting up trying to give you advice, they got a subscription for you to pay for that's coming. They're gonna give you little clips of what you want to hear, and then they're gonna say, oh, you want to see the whole thing? Oh, subscribe to this, pay for this. It's always about money. When all we're telling you to do is put on all black. Put the cigarettes down, put the weed down. Stay out of jail, take care of your kids. Stay with your woman. Let us show you how to keep your marriage. Right? Keep going.
Verse 13. Which things also we speak, not in the words which man wisdom teach, but which the Holy Ghost teaches.
Right. Man's wisdom can't teach this truth, man. It's already been set out. Ain't no refixing the wheel. Keep going.
Comparing spiritual things with spiritual. Verse 14. But the natural man receives not the things of the Spirit of God.
Understand, when you hear that the natural man, let's go back and understand what happened with Adam. When Adam got the Spirit of God on him, before God came to him, he was doing what naturally came to him. Now I don't say nothing specific, right? But that's just how we are. When you really get the Spirit of God, before that you are naturally going out with your friends getting high. We will wait. What does that sound like? A phrase that you think of called a product of your environment, right? Whatever, when you are a natural man, that means that you were just a product of whatever environment you came from. You might have grew up in the suburbs, but you was a sexual deviant behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? You might ain't no telling what you watching or doing. Right. If you was in the projects, you learned to finesse, steal, sell drugs, hurt your brother, right? When you were a rich kid, you was in your product environment, you had the money to do evil stuff and always get out. You didn't think twice about it. You didn't think nothing was wrong with it. You naturally would go sleep with a man's woman because, oh, she was available. That comes natural to you. You were a product of your environment. You were taught to do a certain way, and you convinced yourself it was okay. That's the natural man. That person has no conscience or no spirit of what not to do. And that's what it is in every religion out here outside this truth. Christianity is nothing you can't do. Muslims is nothing you can't do. They make a way to go sleep with other nations of people. They sell drugs, murder each other because that's what comes naturally to them. And the minute you tell them to not do something that comes natural to them, now we got to ask questions about this book.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got to start saying what's wrong with this Bible because I don't naturally like that. So you're not going to get what's spiritually in this Bible. You're not going to get them answers. You're not going to understand how the earth was formed. You're not going to understand that. You're going to get caught up in, oh, we were talking about a snake. Oh, that was 7 days. You don't know what you're talking about. Because you didn't want to do the first thing, which was whatever was coming to you naturally that's not in this Bible. And what'll confuse our people a lot of times is it'll be stuff that you've been doing for almost 40, 50 years. You've seen people do it. 20 years. You've been surviving off doing this. So how can someone come tell you now that this is a lie? That you're wrong? Because that natural man is what? Is naturally going to die one day. That naturally man is naturally going to be gone, going to end up in jail. He's going to lose everything he has because he does what comes natural to him. That's what the LGBTQ community does as well. They're doing what they think is natural to them. They got around someone touched them, and they felt like, okay, this is how it's supposed to go. They're a product of their environments. So they're doing what comes natural to them. It does not bother them for a man to sleep with a man or a woman. And you're in a time where if you're that person that doesn't want to speak out against stuff like that or admit that it's wrong, you're scared to even say that's wrong, you're doing what's natural to you. What's natural to you is to protect yourself. They made it so where you can't speak out against that, to where you're naturally going to cower down to keep your job, keep whatever profession you got going on, because you know if I come out and say something about this, then I might lose this. Mm-hmm. That's a natural reaction. Well, if you got the spirit with you, you ain't gonna give a damn what you lose. You're not gonna give a damn who gets offended. That's what that means. All right, keep going.
For they are foolishness unto him.
Right.
Neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned.
Right. They cannot know him because they can know them. Right? They cannot know them. Right? Okay. You don't have the spirituality to know what's wrong and right no more. I guarantee you in about 10 years, if we still doing this, I'll say within the next 20 years, they're going to be people having arguments about whether or not you can sleep with an animal. There's going to be people going to the Senate saying, having a justified reason for wanting to sleep with a dog, to marry an animal, to make that their husband and wife. That's where we're going. Once they going at the kids, whatever they want to stick their rod in, or let be stuck in them, that's going to be what they're going to be trying to convince everybody else to do. That's where we're going, because there's no rules out here. That's why you got to have law. The law of God is the main staple in your humanity. That's why you got to cling on to that law and fight for this law, because it was given to you freely. It's not against the law of the land to not celebrate holidays, but the people around you will make you think you're breaking the law.
Right.
It will treat you as if you have broken a law. You have to hold on to that. That it's natural for them to want to do this stuff for these holidays. But your spirit has to hate them holidays so you don't participate in it. All right, keep going.
Verse 15. But he that is spiritual judges all things, yet he himself is judged of no man.
Right. Understand that when you are spiritual, you can judge all things when you're in the spirit. That's what's needed in the earth to stop this violence. You need men that can judge all things, resolve all problems. We have a benefit of having a man like that called named General Muhammad in this truth. And I tell you, he can solve all your problems, solve all your problems because he's spiritual, and that's what he teaches every man under him in the ISUPK to be able to do.
Salaki.
Go ahead.
That's another cut right there on how they be talking about you can't judge another man or you judging me, and that's
Oh
a
yeah,
that's a cut right there lets you know that what we supposed to be doing.
you're supposed to be judged because you're gonna get judged by what? You're gonna get judged by the law.
Right.
And let me ask you something. Why do you think they say that man can't be judged?
Why you
Why do you
said
think they
why?
say that man that can judge them cannot be judged?
Because he already following the law.
Because he's following the law. How you gonna judge a man that's following the law?
Right.
That's what that means. He can't be judged. What you judging him about? Now you look in the world can judge you. We talking spiritual. He's not gonna get judged by the Most High, the angels, none of that. Because he's following his law. He's doing what he's supposed to do. All right, keep going.
Verse 16. For who have known the mind of the Lord, that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ.
Right, having that mind of Christ is meaning you're going to be able to be around these people. Don't overlook when it throws Christ in there, because you got to then what refer to how Christ dealt with people. Christ sat with the publicans and sinners, right? You know how he was able to do that? Because he had the right spirit. He was able to go around those people and not be influenced. If you're the type of person that wherever you go, you're easily influenced into doing what's around you, becoming a product of your environment, you do not have the spirit of God. You're supposed to be influencing the people that you go around. But if you don't, if you come around and you say you follow the Most High God, and then you go around somebody, you sneaking smoking weed, or you sneaking dealing with whores, you sneaking stealing, you sneaking doing that, you won't have the spirit. You are a weakling. You're not ready to do that. Some people, when you come into the truth, you may need to, when you're young in the truth, to not go around certain people. You may need that. Not listen to certain things. Just listen to classes and be focused. That's sometimes what you need. But there is a time when your spirit, your strength got to be built up to go around them people. A lot of fake Israelites and individualites, them Israelites that I call them individualites, you're scared to be around people. You can't go to camp without getting a fighting. You can't go to camp and deal with your brother and long suffer with him out in the sun and talk to them about what and they arguing with you. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because you have to be in the house and always that is weak. You can't do that. That's not what Christ did. When it said had a mind of Christ, Christ went anywhere. And it came off offensive to some people to where he lost his life. Are you willing to lose your life about the God you serve? Are you willing to go stand for the God you serve in any arena and lose whatever come with that? Because he's seeing what's on the other side of that. Are you willing to deal with that person that you know gonna betray you? And when I say that, deal with it sensibly, right? You know this person may leave or not leave. Right? Protect yourself, but don't mean shoot him away. Judas had a purpose. Peter had a purpose. But you got to be able to see that. The only way you're going to see that is you got to be spiritually inclined through the law of God. Through the law of God. You got to get that law of God first. All right? Any questions?
Sir.
All right. All right. And with that, we're going to tap the class out. I think Captain Hunt class on. Y'all want to keep tapping in. Anybody, make sure y'all subscribe to ISUPK Alabama, our YouTube, No Cowards Alabama, and our TikTok, and I think the Instagram and Twitter. All right. We got to secure the announcements.
Wow, so I'm working on that.
This is all we got to get down. All right. Men of Israel, Imagine. All right. Imagine Shabbat. Imagine Barak. Yahweh Shem Imagine Batah. Curse you to the sisters. Barak. Yahweh Shema. Imagine Batah. Class dismissed.